Lil B is like a hugely formative artist in my life and career. He dropped an album called I'm Gay, and the rollout was very ambiguous about his sexuality or the meaning of the album, and I was just inspired from the sense that, wow, this guy's just doing whatever the fuck he wants.
So Brandon Christopher McCartney, later known as Lil B, was born around August 17 of 1989 in Berkeley, California. He grew up in affordable housing on Hearst Avenue near 4th Street, where life is a mix of struggle and inspiration. His mother, with her love for diverse artists like Lenny Kravitz and New Edition, introduced him to music at a very young age. Meanwhile, the Bay Area's vibrant music scene, dominated by legends like Too Short, E40, Clyde Carson, and The Team, helped him find his musical identity.
Yeah.
But then I remember one day Lil B came to me and he was like, Unc, I want to make a solo album. They call me Pop. Like, I want to make a solo album. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I was like, something when you want to do it? He said, tomorrow. I was like, what you mean you want to start tomorrow? I said, you want to start tomorrow? He said, no, I'm going to make the whole album tomorrow.
Damn.
And I'm like, how you going to do that? And niggas like, I'm just going to go in there and freestyle an album. And at the moment, I was kind of giggling to myself. I wasn't trying to put the nigga down, but I was like, oh, that little nigga funny. And he went in there the next day and freestyled the album, and the shit was whack. It was whack. But
It was whack.
It's not that what he did. It's what I learned a couple years later. What that evolved into.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm like, this nigga shoots a video every day. This nigga reads a song every day. This nigga got 1 million albums. Like I understood where he was going with it and where his mind was. And then later on, niggas tell me, man, the bass guy freed us all.
Yeah.
Like
shit.
he set them free from the shit that we was all trapped in. Like, you gotta make 16 bars. You gotta make a song like this. You gotta rap like that. He let them niggas go, and they fucking. Like, we thought Lil B was crazy, man, sitting around in his little white drawers
Hey,
on the album cover. Like, that nigga's crazy.
Lil B changed the game forever.
As a kid, he attended Longfellow Middle School in Berkeley. Then he moved to Albany High School and later El Cerrito High. But school was not where his passion lied. It was in the streets, the music, the culture that sparked something deeper in his soul. So around the age of 15, Lil B experienced a very defining moment at a rap dance in South Berkeley. The flashing lights, the energy, and the beats, it all hit him at once, and from there on, he knew that he wanted to pursue music as a career. That same year, around 2004, he forms The Pack with Keith Jenkins, Stunnerman, Lloyd Amadebo, and I know I'm butchering that name, also known as Young L, and DeMonte Johnson, also known as Lil Uno. They began recording in Young L's home studio and performing throughout the Bay, making a name for themselves in underground circles at such a very young age. Then around 2006, everything changes. They upload a track called Vans to MySpace, and after a while the song blows up. The song captures the skater rap culture of the moment, catching the attention of Oakland rap legend Too Short. So after hearing The Pack, he signs them to his Up All Night label under Jive Records, launching them into the mainstream. After this, the group dropped their debut album, Based Boys, and Vans climbed to the number 23 spot on the hip-hop charts. At this point, even though they were still kids, the song Vans was ranked by Rolling Stone as the 5th best song of the year. With their momentum growing, The Pack drops multiple mixtapes and an EP, Skateboard's 2 Scrapers, featuring a remix of Vans with the Bay Area icons Too Short and Mr. Fab. However, despite gaining fame in a short amount of time, the industry became too cutthroat, and despite their initial success, The Pack's album sales did not meet expectations, and around 2008 they were dropped from the label, forcing them to navigate their next moves independently. Now, instead of seeing this as a setback and as an end, Lil B sees this as an opportunity. The man says sayonara to the group and begins pursuing a solo career, using the internet in a way that no rapper has done before. And Soulja Boy might have something to say about that, but he created over 150 MySpace profiles to flood the platform with his music. After that, he dropped about 20 YouTube videos in just 2 weeks to maximize his visibility. And then he built a massive following on Twitter, engaging directly with his fans and spreading his music that way, introducing them to the based philosophy. Then around 2009, his solo discography begins to take shape. And on September of that year, he dropped his first digital album, I'm Thrax, through the independent label Permanent Marks. Then, just a few months later, he dropped another one called Sex Kiss, a project that pioneers the dreamy, atmospheric sound that will later be known as cloud rap. Then, by the mid-2010s, Lil B has recorded over 1,500 tracks, and that was crazy for that time. Now, was the quality of these songs the best? No. A lot of them sound like he recorded them in his basement or in a closet, but he was putting so much music out at a very fast pace that his fans were there for it. So after putting in a lot of work when it comes to his music, around 2010 he drops his official first studio album called Rain in England through Weird Forest Records. But this is just not another rap album. Instead, it's very experimental. Lil B was making it clear that he was not about to sound like everybody else. He was not just a rapper, he was an artist that was pushing boundaries. And this was just the beginning. Now around this time, hip-hop was shifting. The dominant gangster rap of the 1990s was fading away. I'm talking about the baggy jeans, tough posturing, and street anthems. All of that was fading to the side. Even artists like Lil Wayne, one of the biggest artists of that era, transitions from his Hot Boys and the Carter 2 persona, wearing baggy jeans and oversized t-shirts, to a more flamboyant, skater-inspired style. Wayne's influence on hip-hop fashion is undeniable at this point, but another rapper was about to push the culture in a way nobody else expects. So around 2011, he announces an album title called I'm Gay, which sends shockwaves through the hip-hop industry. At this point, many people are caught off guard. Hip-hop has historically been known to be a tough, gangster type of music, and we're talking about hip-hop from the 90s onwards. So when Lil B announced the album title I'm Gay, many people naturally assumed that he was gay, and others thought that maybe this was just another publicity stunt. But according to Lil B at the time, he was not actually gay. He was actually making a statement about positivity and self-acceptance. Kind of the way Will Smith's kid, Jaden Smith, dresses in skirts. According to him, it was a way for other people to know that, look, you can be whoever you want to be and stop trying to fit into a box that other people made for you. So, when the album finally drops, it's not called just I'm Gay, as if he was trying to soften the impact of the album title. At the time, people were thinking, this is a cop-out. How could you say you were about to drop an album called I'm Gay and then change it to I'm Gay, I'm Happy? Because that changes the message of what you're trying to say. Needless to say, the conversation was started, and many artists had things to say about this project, and we'll talk about this in a minute. But as hip-hop continued to evolve, so did Lil B. His influence on artists like Lil Uzi and Playboy Carti is very evident, giving young rappers the confidence to express themselves more freely, whether it's through their fashion or their music.
Think when you saw the album called I'm Gay?
Oh, the first reaction was, damn, did he get turned out? You know, I didn't know. and then that was because I heard about it before I saw anything or even got to talk to him. And then he started releasing the statements, which I thought he should have released the statements with the title, like, I'm just, I'm happy, whatever. Like, say it. It's a play on words. I'm tearing down stereotypes. Say that before you just let everybody react to it. I'm gay, and then some pictures floating around with him in his underwear with some tiny whities. I mean, it's funny, but at the same time, I'm sure in his mind he knows. He knew, like, he's like, I'm gonna do this shit that's gonna kill him. The whole world's gonna talk about it. Go for it, man.
So around 2011, Lil B drops another album. This one is called Angel's Exodus. And without a shocking title like I'm Gay, the album does not do as well as its predecessor, and it doesn't really have an impact on hip-hop culture at all. Now, in the same year that he dropped this album, he began a very, very interesting beef with Kevin Durant. Or should I say Kevin started a beef with him. Around January of 2011, with a single tweet, Kevin Durant, one of NBA's brightest stars at the time, drops a tweet saying that he tried to listen to Lil B, but he could just not do it. Now, this tweet was very, very, very dismissive, and he didn't have to say anything at all, but when Lil B heard about this, he took this on as a challenge. Rather than firing back with words alone and dropping a barrage of tweets, Lil B does something unexpected. He challenges Kevin to a one-on-one basketball game. The stakes, if Durant wins, Lil B will retire from rap. So, Lil B was sitting there waiting for Kevin to respond, but Kevin ignored the challenge, and that's when things took a turn. Feeling disrespected, Lil B takes things up a notch, and around May of 2011, Lil B invokes the base god curse, a mystical, almost comedic hex that he claims will prevent Kevin Durant from winning the championship. And now it all begins as a joke, but as the time goes on, things start getting very, very weird. Around 2012, Kevin Durant reaches the NBA Finals for the first time with Oklahoma City Thunder, but they lose to the Miami Heat in just 5 games. Then in 2013, the Oklahoma City Thunder fall in the second round to Memphis Grizzlies after Russell Westbrook suffers a season-ending knee injury. Then around 2014, Lil B escalates the beef, releasing a full-blown diss track titled F**k KD. And this happens after the Thunder get eliminated from the playoffs. Then around 2015, as if things could not get worse, Durant suffers multiple injuries, including a fracture in his foot, which limits him to about 27 games for the season. Then around 2016, the Thunder make it all the way to the Western Conference Finals and take a 3-1 lead over the Golden State Warriors. At this point, it looks like Kevin Durant is finally going to break through. But then, disaster strikes, the team collapses, losing 3 straight games, and eventually gets eliminated. Now at this point, the base god's curse is no longer just an inside joke among Lil B fans. It's become a full-blown legend. NBA fans, commentators, and even players begin acknowledging it. And whether it's just a coincidence or superstition, the fact remains, since Lil B cursed Kevin Durant, he was not able to win a single ring. So in that year, in July of 2016, everything changes. Kevin Durant announces that he's leaving the Thunder to join the Golden State Warriors. And that's Lil B's home team. And instead of doubling down on the curse, Lil B does something unexpected. He lifts the curse. He publicly announces that Kevin Durant is forgiven, calling his move to the Bay Area a sign of heart. To seal the truce, Lil B even says that he'll buy courtside tickets to support Kevin Durant rather than challenge him to a one-on-one. And at this point, the beef was officially squashed. And guess what happened? In 2017, Kevin Durant won his first NBA championship with the Warriors. And this was after Lil B lifted the curse. And at this point, people are thinking, hold on, wait a minute. Maybe this curse is actually real. So around 2018, Kevin Durant wins back-to-back titles, proving that he's one of the best in the game.
We need to know the status of your more notable curses here. So we're going to play a little game called Cursed or Not Cursed. And we've got 4 NBA players who have crossed you in the past. And you'll tell us if they're currently under a curse.
We're not playing that. That just happened.
This is real.
Oh.
All right. So when Kevin Durant called you trash in 2011, you tweeted, Kevin Durant will never win the title after he said Lil B's a whack rapper. # the base god's curse on Durant.
Oh, boy.
Is KD still under a curse?
Oh yeah, KD's curse is active. He's still cursed until he plays me in the game of 21.
I'm getting the chills.
Wait, he has to play you in a game of 21?
He has to play me in the game of 21. That's the only way the curse can be lifted.
And did you make the stipulation after the curse to lift it, or is this the reason there is a curse?
That's the reason there is a curse, because Kevin Durant actually agreed to play me in the game of 21. During the season, he went back on his word, and that's when the base guy was like, you know what, curse him. It's not.
And by the way, then he hasn't been healthy since. He hasn't been healthy. He didn't win a title. Look at that.
Yeah, it's...
Clearly, the curse still holds.
No mercy for the base god? He never has mercy on anyone?
You know, but the thing is, we never like to curse people. That's always the last resort.
The last resort.
And
you saw the artwork.
Diplomacy first, and then if diplomacy fails, then the base god puts a curse on.
Exactly, you know, and these are people that, when they're cursed, they might have character.
Now let's go back to 2010, right? In this year, Lil B is making waves in the hip-hop world, and because he wants to make a bigger wave in the industry, he reaches out to Joe Budden for support. But the thing is, Joe does not respond. For Lil B, the silence feels like a snub, and rather than letting it go, he flips the narrative, claiming that he's actually better than Joe Budden lyrically. He then begins sending out tweets, taunting Joe Budden, stirring up attention online. And after a while, this caught Joe Budden's attention. Budden, never one to back down from confrontation. I don't know about now, but back then he was not about to back down from confrontation. He fires back at Lil B, mocking his appearance and even comparing him to Jesus. So, rather than taking things lying down and sending a barrage of tweets at Joe Budden, Lil B decides to take things to the studio. And what can only be described as a flex, he writes and records a diss track aimed at Joe Budden in just 15 minutes. And he calls the track T-shirts and Buttons.
T-shirt and buttons, it's a warning shot. Rap niggas wanna talk, I'll leave with your jaw drop.
The track wastes no time, opening with a now iconic line, "Hey Joe Budden, you're a f***ing joke." In the track, Lil B makes fun of Joe Budden from going from mainstream to the underground. And after a while, it began to gain some traction, but not because of its content, but because of the sheer audacity of Lil B, especially since he claimed that he was lyrically better than Joe Budden. Now, the beef doesn't last very long. Over time, Lil B takes a step back and realizes his actions were driven by insecurity. And in a surprising move, he apologizes to Lil Budden, publicly calling him a true legend. So years later, Budden himself acknowledges the track, claiming that it was one of the hardest diss tracks aimed at him, and he tweeted, "That Lil B diss still hard all these years later."
Did you ever respond or
no?
Did you respond?
You can't
so
respond.
does that mean
you can't respond?
You can't respond.
I said, what could you say?
That was one of the best diss tracks that anybody has ever made about Joe Budden.
I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, so is that
In
many
my
ideas?
I think so. I think so.
In my
Yeah,
entire
for sure.
career, I'm telling you.
I think so too.
I'm telling you.
And it's been quite a few.
Totally unexpected. He did that shit in maybe less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
Our beef was about absolutely nothing.
That's what made it great.
Ask, what
That's
was
what made it great.
about?
That's what made it
Because
great.
Lil B went on Twitter and said, "Yo, man, I don't believe in no white and black. I only see all of us are gray."
He
And
said
I
that?
said,
He said
You know
that?
he said that, bro.
Hey,
I know
man,
Big tripping, but I'm not gonna lie. You know
"I don't know this, but tell him to shut the."
Wow.
And that was all I needed. And less than 24 hours later,
T-shirt and Buttons was
he was on my ass.
Thank God.
What a story. Listen up, kids. That's history.
Now, Joe Budden is just one rapper that Lil B had beef with. The other rapper is known to have beef with a lot of artists because that's his MO, and that's the game. One day, the game comes across one of Lil B's verses on Wayne's Sorry for the Wait mixtape, and he does not hold back and claims Lil B is the wackest rapper alive. Now, for a rapper like The Game, who comes from the West Coast and he's known for gangster rap, Lil B's style must have seemed unorthodox to him. But instead of firing back aggressively, Lil B does something unexpected. At first, Lil B responds respectfully, refusing to take The Game's words too seriously. But soon after that, he delivers a subtle but effective jab and calls The Game irrelevant.
Hey, stay on TMZ.
Yeah, man. Look,
stay on TMZ, Face God.
They ain't talking about me, but right now, and I respect Game. I got live from Compton 1 and 2, this 2. So Game already know you're a legend in my book, but he's irrelevant. Face God.
Yeah.
And while the beef does not venture out into the streets, it shows us that Lil B has a very uncanny ability to get under people's skins. Now, at the time, The Game was still dropping music, but many people thought that Lil B cursed him. And according to them, The Game's album sales after his feud with Lil B were abysmal. For example, the Red album, which came out around 2011, did 98,000 copies in the first week. The next album did 86,000, and the album after that did 33,000 in the first week. So according to Lil B fans, The Game was on the decline musically because he was beefing with Lil B. So after a while, Lil B ends the feud. He publicly says that The Game is one of the best rappers ever, and he encourages his fans to support The Game's new album. Now at this point, Lil B was just racking up beefs like a butchery. So in 2017, he got into it with another rapper slash singer, A Boogie the Hoodie. So around 2017, Lil B takes to Twitter and makes a very bold claim. He claims that New York rappers are trying to sound too much like Future and Dej Loaf. He even goes on further to say that he represents New York better than New York artists. And the thing is, if you listen to A Boogie with the Hoodie's music, you can clearly tell that he was inspired by Dej Loaf, with some people even saying that he took Dej Loaf's style and ran with it. So you can imagine how A Boogie felt about this. So, around October of 2017, at the Rolling Loud Bay Area Festival, before Lil B even gets to perform, he's ambushed backstage by A Boogie, PNB Rock, and their crew. About 10 people in total. The group physically assaults Lil B, leaving him battered. They also steal his equipment, effectively canceling his set. Or at least they try to. Now instead of retaliating, Lil B does something completely unexpected. Just minutes after their attack, Lil B takes the stage, and instead of lashing out, he faces the crowd and promotes peace and forgiveness. It's all love, he says, addressing the crowd. I got jumped by A Boogie and his crew, and it's all love. I ain't got no problems with them. I'm still gonna be positive and show love. So, in the days following the attack, several major artists came to Lil B's defense. Travis Scott and Schoolboy Q publicly showed support, and Rolling Loud removes PNB Rock from the lineup due to security concerns. So around October of 2017, just 2 days after the attack, Kilo Kurt of This Entertainment facilitates a call between Lil B and A Boogie. Then Lil B and A Boogie get to talking, they acknowledge that they have mutual respect for each other, and after this, the beef is squashed.
I'm gonna keep it 100.
Yeah.
I thought that Lil B shit, I thought that was keeping it real. Like where we come from, I thought that was keeping it real. He was talking crazy, kind of disrespectful the way we did it because we did it in somebody else's hometown, whatever. But I found that like 1 + 1 = 2. If we leave each other right now, you go on the internet, oh this nigga, this nigga. Before the music shit happened, and even if I'm in school with a nigga, for me, it's the same thing. It's a fight, like.
Now even though Lil B has been in the game for a very long time, he keeps dropping a lot of music. Around 2020, he dropped a series of impactful singles like I'm George Floyd, a reflection of racial injustice.
I'm George Floyd with the beard and the dreadlocks. Forget the dreads, just locks. Don't stop.
He dropped a song called Save the Planet, one that promotes environmental awareness. He dropped a song called I'm Kanye, and another one called Pour a Cup. He also kept collaborating with other artists, like around 2023, he appeared on Trippie Redd's album Mansion Music. And around 2024, he teams up with Lyrical Lemonade for All Is Yellow.
No, one night stands are alright, but love is the greatest.
Also in that same year, he announces that he's going to be a playable character in NBA 2K 2025, calling it extremely rare. So Lil B is still dropping music, he's still relevant to the culture even though he's not dropping music that is gonna sell 100,000 copies in the first week. But despite this, his fan base is still very loyal to him, especially considering he's still feeding them with new music time after time. On Spotify, he has about 1 million monthly listeners, and his most listened to songs are B.O.R., Birth of Rap, I'm God, Swag Like Ohio, Suck My D***, and First Night.
I think making mistakes, you know. I like that. Yeah, mistakes and learning about myself and seeing, okay, this is how I want to live. This is how what I want to improve on, you know. And just seeing, I think like the path that you know, like God and the world has given me, right? Like I've chosen a unique path, and like with that there comes like a work ethic and like different, you know, and different types of cool things come with that, you know, through that. But yeah, I just always wanted to be one of the greats, you know.
That's it for me. It's your boy Ali. What happened to Lil B in your opinion? Let me know down below. Also add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music. Till next time, peace.